Yeah, excited for the tournament. We get to play a new tournament, and excited for our guys, watch them compete. Like I told them, you guys heard it. Our focus is not going any further than Friday and USC Upstate. And so excited to play them. Excited for another week of preparation and get ready to host baseball at Doug Kingsmore Stadium for the third year in a row. Which Henny told me, I didn't know this. We're only us in Arkansas have hosted 3 years in a row, so excited for the Clemson community and the local businesses here of what that means, and for our own fans to watch Clemson baseball here at home. So be a fun weekend, and certainly excited for Friday.
Make things a little bit easier waking up today knowing, just shaking off yesterday, knowing that you've got the NCAA tournament ahead of you, chance to host, so many opportunities right here.
Yeah, as disappointing as yesterday was, you just got to flush that and move on. And we did that, I think, probably by the time we got on the bus leaving Durham, we had already had our attention focused on what's next. And it's no sense dwelling on not playing well against UNC. It doesn't matter at this point. And now it's just sights set forward and ready to go.
You guys do a great job of playing these in-state schools and having familiarity with them. Certainly an added bonus now knowing USC Upstate's coming to town.
Yeah, we know them and they know us. And so I think the advantage is on both sides, and played each other already once this year. And they've got a great club. And, first year coach taking over, and to have them back in the tournament, they're coming off of a dog pile, and, they can really hit. They've got a very dangerous lineup, very good team, and, a young rising star and a coach that is going to have their program positioned well for the years to come.
What do you know about the other teams though in your regional, and just who they are and what they're going to bring here to this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we all follow college baseball, so we, especially the power conferences, and then some of the, the good stories in the, group of five and the other schools. And so just following the SEC and the Big 12, we've followed along with, Kentucky's aggressiveness, West Virginia's consistency all season long, but haven't really looked at anything in depth or in detail. But again, it's, we'll do scouting reports for both of them. But again, our focus and our attention is just squarely on the game on Friday.
Ethan Darden, is there any chance he's back this season?
Yeah, there's a chance. We thought maybe even he would have a chance this past weekend in the ACC tournament, but it looks like, just from a precautionary standpoint, one more week would best serve him. So he's throwing off the mound already, and so if all progresses well this week, he should get the all clear for this weekend. So we'll see. I'd say probable, but not guaranteed.
Who gets the ball in game one? Did you make a decision yet?
No, not yet. We've talked about it, and so we'll probably announce the game one starter probably Thursday.
Upstate, you blanked them 7-0 earlier this year. They later went to NC State, run rolled them. This is a team that can hit the ball. I mean, they swing the bats really well.
They're very dangerous lineup, a lot of homers, but a lot of doubles, a lot of slugging. But yeah, they can really hit, and it's not just a few guys; it's the whole lineup. So yeah, we'll have our work cut out for us for sure. This is a really good team.
Will Reed Garrison be up this weekend?
Yeah, should be.
Third year in a row, as you mentioned. Just what it takes, what an accomplishment that is for you guys, and a favorite part. You love playing here. You've hyped up Doug Kingsmore since the moment you got back here. What's your favorite part of the regional atmosphere that you guys have been able to create?
Well, the last couple years in the regional, we've seen an electricity here that just, we didn't see until the postseason, but then we've seen it a little bit this year. I mean, we first saw it against South Carolina when we played them, and there's been other games this year that it's been like, holy smokes, this atmosphere. You got Derby junkies hanging out in all games, not just the postseason. So I think the fan base last year was certainly energized, and then they have carried it over at times this year throughout the year. And so I know the entire left field area is going to be off the chain, especially the area overlooking the bullpen. Really excited about that. The Derby junkies are going to be packed. The Cajun Cafe is going to do its thing as it always does. And, we just want the rowdiest, most hostile environment possible to create that 10th man. And when we've got our fan base rocking and rolling, we can feel it, and it energizes our team. So to be able to bring postseason baseball back to Clemson and DKS, and the energy and the atmosphere here has gotten better with each day and each year. I can't wait to see what this weekend's going to look like.
When you guys were going through a bit of a slump there, you said the comeback was going to be epic. You guys were able to play really good baseball for the ACC championship. How do you ensure that momentum carries over now to the postseason when it's essentially, I know it's double elimination, but do or die for the most part?
Well, the confidence and the belief that our players have right now is it's higher than it ever was at any point in the season. And you needed to get knocked down and drug through the mud a little bit to, maybe find out who you are, who we are, and how we're going to respond from some adversity. It's one thing to have a little bit of adversity in a game but still win the game. It's another thing to have 3 straight losing weekends where, we had to really figure some things out as a team, as individual players, everything, and just used it as an opportunity to really laser focus on, what are some players' strengths that they can really harness and how to maintain them. What's maybe one thing they can improve on as an opportunity for growth to help them and us play better. And our guys were super committed to that, and they really were up for the challenge. And when we came out of it, and we had a defining moment, no hitter against Pitt, and then the next game we play our very best game of the year, top to bottom in terms of how we score each game with our game goals, and it's just like that was huge for us. And now the belief and the confidence, and I know we didn't play well yesterday, but it doesn't matter. Like it's a different feeling. They're very confident. They have a high level of belief, and there's still especially with the returning guys, there's that taste in their mouth from the postseason last year of not finishing what they started, and so they very much have had that in the back of their minds all year, and so there's going to be a laser focus on playing well.
I wanted to ask you this yesterday, but kind of going into this tournament after you just played an ACC tournament this year for the first time, that was a single elimination game. How does that help you in these kind of settings now when you're playing, when it's all on the line for a national championship?
Yeah, I mean this time of year, especially with, like, to your point, that was a great way to kind of introduce that win or go home against the ropes type mindset, and that everybody playing single elimination, like there's not a better way to have that back against the wall type mentality of do whatever you have to do in the game to come out on top to survive and advance. So I think that's a really cool mindset to have. It's mentally freeing. It doesn't make you tense. It actually makes you say, all right, screw it, let's go, let's get after it, and let's leave it all on the line and play as hard as we can as long as we can. And that's what I saw from our guys, and we did, and just ran out of gas, ran out of pitching, so to speak, yesterday. But I love the way our guys competed all week long and facing some really good teams and some really good pitching.
And then also kind of not wear yourself out with a ton of games in a very short span right before the NCAA tournament. Is that also part of it, you think?
No, I think we needed to play all those games.
No, I mean not having to do double elimination, multiple games, the pool play, all of those that you guys were logging up throughout.
Yeah, I don't like pool play, and the double elimination tournament and conference tournaments, they've been on teams that have played like 5 games in 4 days and things like that. And yeah, that can be troublesome. But I like the way this tournament was set up. The biggest fan of the double elimination tournament that mirrors the College World Series. Double elimination, 2 brackets, those 2 bracket winners meet, but I like the single elimination tournament way better than pool play.
It was a low bar.
I only liked pool play our first year there. That's the only time I liked pool play.
This camp can roll the weights with hitting the ball in May. How much is that a guy who didn't really have a fall kind of finding his stride, or what would you attribute it to the way he's hitting?
I think you attribute it to, number one, that's Cam. When the season is getting into crunch time, Cam is at his best, because if you were to quantify the clutch factor in him, it would be off the charts. So it's him playing his best when it means the most, and it's also attributed to the natural progression of not just missing the fall, but missing the fall of weightlifting and missing the fall of strengthening his body, and so he's been able to do that as the season has gone on. So you're seeing him get stronger physically as the season has progressed, just because of how he's been able to train his body as the season has progressed.
You think going into this tournament, Aiden's kind of hitting his peak as well on the mound? I know he was pretty solid the other day, but then last week the no-hitter.
Certainly looks like it. He's again, the belief and the confidence, and he's part scientist with how he masters his craft, and he puts a lot of pride into his performance and his recovery and how he goes about his week-to-week routine. He's one of the most disciplined week-to-week routines and regimented kids I've been around. So it seems like it would make sense for him to be peaking when we need him to peak, and all of our players to be playing their best when it means the most.
It's a really random question, but what out of those in-game interviews where you always give it to a player, like, why did that become a thing? Like,
I don't know. Is there anyone I can hand it off to right now? I don't know where that started and why it started, but we'll just go with it. It's been fun. It lightens it up. I watched some of those in-game interviews, and the coach looks like he's being tortured. It looks miserable, and it's like, it doesn't have to be this way. Let's lighten this up. Let's have a conversation, and let's pass it off and put the spotlight on the player. And part of it is that our players constantly always have the opportunity to advocate for themselves and people to get to know their personalities, because we're, a month and 4 days away from NIL deals being commercially driven. And the more that our players can feature and showcase themselves and who they are, maybe they're more attractive to a business that wants to hire them, to sell their stuff, and our players can financially benefit from that. So that's maybe the underlying reason, but part of it is also just to keep those in-game interviews lighthearted.
How do you pick? Do you literally just turn and go like, you're the closest guy to me, or?
Pretty much, yeah. There's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes it's like, who should we get? And I'll think about it before, but a lot of times I'll turn around and say, come here, and try to work it into the conversation with whatever they do or they did.
You have such a shy team, so.
Right, yeah.
Is that any part of the superstition, or just because you've been doing it, you have to keep doing it?
No, I mean, I just think it's fun. And we'll probably always do that now, and why not?
Do you have superstitions as a coach?
Maybe, I don't know. None that are like that I can't function if I don't do them, but I think we all have little, idiosyncrasies of, how we put on our socks, and no, nothing. I got nothing.
You mentioned earlier this season about not caring about who your opponent plays, about the team playing good. I was just wondering, were you kind of surprised that you guys didn't get the top 8 national senior tournament?
I don't know. Surprised is probably not the word. I mean, I think we had 2 opportunities to get a top 8 national seed. Had we won one more regular season game, we would have been the outright conference champs in the 1 seed. I think that would have done it. And had we have won yesterday, I think that might have done it as well. So we had 2 chances to do it, and just finished a game short each time. But still doesn't take away from, we feel really good about this team, and they feel really good about themselves. It's one of those things where we won 20 conference games in the regular season the last 2 years, and that it was good to win the division last year, but not overall. And then the year before, it was second in the division, but not overall. So it depends on who you play. It depends on who you miss. It depends on a lot of factors. And this year, everyone was kind of jumbled up at the top, and the league was really good this year. They have a really good league, and it always is good, but the top teams are all really good.
So TP Wentworth, what did you see from him this past month or so, I guess, that kind of allowed him to solidify that right field spot for you?
Yeah, it's just that, with freshmen, it's so hard for freshmen to just jump into a lineup, especially at this level. The college baseball in general is just older in the post-COVID world. But especially at the tippy top, you've just got, portal, and you've got so many players that have developed and waited their turn. There may only be 1 or 2 freshmen each year that even contribute. And he's just been very patient, but also been very diligent with how he prepares. And when we take batting practice, we call it smash practice, but when we take smash practice, he is smashing the ball. Like, he's top 2, top 3, top 4 most impressive BPs in terms of exit velocity and consistently hitting the ball with the right trajectory and hitting it hard. And it just got to the point where we have a couple of injuries, Becerra and McClatty, and then the opportunity presented itself for him to get in there. I think JJ wasn't able to catch one of the pit games, so Gaffney catches, and then TP went in, and it was like pretty good at bats. And so let's go with it. And he's done well with the opportunity, and so he's given us a little bit of a spark here at the end of the year. He's faced some really good pitching too. He faced some really good pitching this week and had some big hits.
He had some throws from the outfield too, so obviously he's a former quarterback and pitcher, so kind of had an idea that he had that kind of arm from the outfield too.
Yeah, he throws 91, 92 off the mound, and you're right, he's a quarterback, and he's just a great athlete. So it's one thing to have a good arm, it's another thing to be able to get rid of it quick and throw accurately. So that was a huge throw in that moment of the game against NC State. So it's NC State, right?
There were two.
NC State?
There was another one that picked up a double play as well.
Yeah, that was against Georgia Tech. Yeah, that was a heck of a play too. So, yeah, great athlete, and he's playing well, and he's giving us a spark. So we'll run with it.
Anything else for Coach?